going to talk about our opinions on legalizing marijuana. So, I think that there's lots of pros and cons about legalizing marijuana, but I think a big one is that there's lots of people that are buying marijuana on their own that don't have a medical card just because they want it, and I think that there's a lot of cases where people die because they're drugged, and I think that if marijuana was legalized, that it would save a lot of people's lives because they could get it from a safe place like a dispensary.
I could see both sides of that, yeah. Like, I see what you're saying because the fentanyl, like when people are getting it off the streets.
It can be laced.
Yes, and then the only thing that I would say against it is that, like we have kids who are vaping in school. You know, they, even though they're supposed to be 18 or 21 or something like that, they're still able to go in and buy it. Would we have that issue like with, if we legalized it to where anyone could come off on the street, like off the street and just buy it without a prescription? Would they, you know, have places that would be lenient and allow
Underage kids to come in.
Underage kids to come in and buy it? I think that would be the only thing that issue that I could see. Maybe.
I personally don't think that you should just legalize.
Speak up, Kristen.
I personally don't think you should legalize marijuana because I think that it's just another thing for someone to, anybody could just go in and purchase and buy, and we have enough things that people can do that. I personally think that it should be, because I then think that people are going to be using their prescription medication and they're going to be going to buy marijuana, and I think there needs to be, I think that I like that it's, that you can get a marijuana card from a healthcare provider, and you can go buy it that way. But I just don't feel like that anybody off the streets should just be able to go into a dispensary and buy marijuana, personally. Okay.
Well,
I think,
Sandra?
go ahead.
I think that from a standpoint of a healthcare provider, that legalizing marijuana is a really bad idea. We know that the effects of marijuana make people less able to drive of an automobile. I think driving down the street with somebody who's high on marijuana is not a wonderful idea. Even in a legalized situation, there are patients, as you mentioned, that will get their marijuana card and end up taking a narcotic, and so we just don't know what these people are taking, and there's no real way to regulate it. It's just really a bad idea overall.
I just think there's such a big discussion over whether it should be legalized or not, and I feel like we might not know all the information, but it's not legalized for a reason, and since there's such a big debate over it, maybe that it's in the right spot being not legalized.
I totally agree with you. It should not be legalized.
Yeah, as a teacher in education.
That was, I think we're all pretty much of the same opinion that it would be very bad in the long run to legalize it. I think what it can do for someone who is in great pain, that really needs it from a medical reason, I think it's great that we've discovered it can be used for that. But I think to make it legal would be a big mistake.
As a teacher, that just adds one more thing, like in the school system, because even though they are underage, like I said, that's just one more thing that they'll bring into the school system, and then the education, the state has to figure out how are we gonna like combat the issue of underage, you know, marijuana in the school.
And marijuana just leads to harder drugs.
Right, and I think it kind of stunts their growth and everything, mentally.
Yeah, also, I don't know how reliable this is or where I even saw it, but that smoking marijuana can lead to like, it's like a psychosis. Like it does something to your brain, like it does something to some people where they have like adverse effects to it, and it can like send you into like a psychosis, and I think that that's why, you know, a doctor is supposed to give it to you because they'll know more about how you'll react to it.
Another thing, I think the marijuana that is being produced now is a much stronger
It is, yes.
marijuana than what we used to have.
It is,
And
yes.
so I think that makes it even more seriously dangerous.
And I mean, it'll just go up and up from there because it's.
And I think mental health too
Mhm.
is on the rise too with our adolescents and our, you know, children and young adults today. And I think that marijuana can also enhance maybe things that, like if somebody has depression, maybe, and they think, oh, marijuana will help it. It may help somebody, but it also may enhance somebody else's depression and, you know, different things. However, I mean, you know, seizures, I know there's been a big study on seizures with, you know, marijuana, and that it helps in seizures and those things. But I also, once again, think that it needs to be under a medical guidance. So,
Agreed.
It's a strong drug,
It is a strong drug.
and to me, any strong drug, especially this, but any strong drug needs to be under the authority of a medical professional. And if it's not, we're heading down a real dark path.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we all kind of have the same opinion on it. So. Thank y'all for talking to me about your opinions on legalizing